right, we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, we can send this recording out to anybody who joined late or wasn't able to attend today. But for everyone on the line today, this is Charlie Marone speaking with Offsite Data Sync, as well as Seaway Dodge from the Offsite Data Sync team. And then we have a few of our Ingram counterparts on the line as well. So thank you all for joining today. We really appreciate the time and just wanted to have a few minutes with each of you to discuss the partner program we have through Ingram Micro to let VARs and managed service providers have the ability to work with us to resell our Veeam Cloud solutions to existing and new Veeam clients you have in your database today to increase your profits and revenue with the Veeam platform in particular. So we're going to just get into kind of high level of who we are and the solutions we provide and how you can work with us through the Ingram Micro partnership, and we'll leave some time at the end for any questions you have. And then we'll also send a follow-up email to everyone in attendance today to see if they have any further questions, feedback, or would like to schedule a one-on-one call to speak to a partner relationship with Offsite Data Sync and Ingram, specifically to their organization. And if there's any questions throughout the presentation, you can always put them in the chat window. Seaway's going to monitor that. And if it applies to something I could speak to, I'll touch on it during the presentation. If not, we'll provide follow-up emails and content in an email afterwards. Okay, let's kick this off. So we at Offsite Data Sync, we're located in Rochester, New York. We do have an international data center presence, but we're a platinum Veeam Cloud service provider. That's the highest partner level that Veeam offers for their cloud service providers. We're a two-time Veeam Growth Partner of the Year, and just this year we were awarded the Innovation Award from Veeam for our Veeam Cloud Backup for Office 365 solution. And the three products and solutions we're going to touch on today are Veeam Cloud Connect Backup, which is our backup as a service offering, as well as Veeam Cloud Connect Replication, which is our disaster recovery as a service offering, as well as our Veeam Cloud Backup for Office 365 solution. These are the primary solutions we provide. It's our core competency here at Offsite Data Sync, and all of these solutions are offered through Ingram Micro. A little bit about Offsite Data Sync. We've been in business since about 2001. We are one of the largest Veeam Cloud service providers in North America with an international data center presence. So we can address clients that need data to remain in Europe, Asia, the US, just about anywhere today, and that's something that's expanding over time. We do also have a strong emphasis on working with clients who have to adhere to specific and stringent compliance initiatives, such as HIPAA, ITAR, PCI, SOC, GDPR. So some of those clients are really where we specialize in the backup and DR arena. And some details in regards to some of our differentiators in comparison with some of the other Veeam Cloud service providers on the market today. This data sheet really speaks to that. First off, just being a trusted partner recognized for some of our outstanding performance and innovation with the Veeam product. It also goes a long way with our relationship with Veeam. We're able to provide insight into how we can improve and enhance the offering and what matters most to our client base to make sure that we're always very close with Veeam and able to impact some of their decisions, big picture. One of the largest Veeam Cloud providers in North America, depending on the month. We protect tens of thousands of physical and virtual machines with our Veeam Cloud Connect platforms. The compliance we touched on briefly, and how we deliver our solutions primarily is out of the Switch SuperNAP data centers, and we'll touch on the Switch SuperNAP facilities in a few moments here as well. If you're not familiar with Switch, they're quite literally the safest data centers commercially available at this time. They have a Tier 4 Gold rating by the Uptime Institute. We also have 2 Veeam Vanguards on staff, which speaks to our relationship with Veeam as well as our Veeam expertise. There's only about 60 to 80 Veeam Vanguards in the US. 2 of them work on our engineering team, so they work very closely with Veeam and very knowledgeable on the product. We also have a mandate for all of our support engineers to become VMCE certified within the first year upon being hired at Offsite DataSync. So our support staff is very knowledgeable on the product. It's something that they work in every day. Moving on to the forward thinking, we have solutions that integrate with the public cloud. We have object-based storage offerings for archival initiatives when we're looking at backup as a service with specific clients who have lengthy retention schedules. We also offer a number of professional service engagements for the deployment and optimization of both Veeam and Veeam Cloud Connect services, and then that global presence I touched on previously. This is an image of the Switch SuperNAP data center that's in Las Vegas, Nevada. They also have another facility in Grand Rapids, Michigan that we partner with, and this is where most of our customer data resides. Mainly because it helps us adhere to many of the compliance initiatives that we see in the market today. For example, we work with a number of organizations in the healthcare and financial verticals where the data resides plays a huge impact into their backup and DR strategy. And if you're ever going to Las Vegas for a trade show or even to vacation, if you give me some notice, I'd be more than happy to help schedule you for a tour to visit the Switch facility. I refer to it as like the Disneyland of data centers. It's really incredible to see up close and in person. And again, they're the only data center on the market to achieve that Tier 4 Gold carrier neutral rating awarded by the Uptime Institute. 2N+1 redundancy in all aspects, and really amazing facilities to see in person. And this image is their facility in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which we also partner with as well. I briefly want to get into the solutions, the backup DR and 365 backup solutions that we provide. And just know that if your team is interested in having a more detailed discussion with our team and our solution engineers, we're more than happy to provide white papers and data sheets on each of our solutions, as well as base pricing materials, as well as kind of onboarding and training your team, both your sales and engineering teams, to better enable you to both identify opportunities and work opportunities to a successful close with your existing Veeam client base. So this is going to be very high level today, but just know that something we do with all of our new partners is a partner onboarding, either an on-site meeting or a virtual meeting, where we really do a deep dive into these solutions and how to best leverage them. So we're going to start with backup as a service with Veeam Cloud Connect Backup. And all of our backup solutions are sold on a per terabyte basis. So essentially, we help you size the necessary repository size for your end users. And we have a few different suites of service, basically allowing clients to pick a solution that's going to be a best fit for them. Some of our clients just want cloud backup storage with failover capabilities to check off a box, while others want a more robust backup solution with certain features and SLAs that they need to adhere to. We have a different suite of service for just about every end user. For example, some will include annual disaster recovery failover testing that comes with documentation once the test is complete. All of our backup solutions have the ability to enable an archive repository on the back end of these repositories to address long-term data archiving. So if you have clients that are doing grandfather, father, son, GFS retention, to help address the cost standpoint of housing all of that data in those data sets, we've enabled an archiving feature. And there's all of our solutions, all of our suites include failover capabilities in the event of a disaster, where a client can call us and declare a disaster with their backup solution, and we can manually restore those machines into our infrastructure and work with them on connectivity so they can operate out of our environment. There's a diagram here of how the backup solution works going to our cloud repository, and some really simple probing questions you can ask clients who are considering Veeam or using Veeam today. The best one I like is, what are you currently doing to accomplish the 3-2-1 best practices? 3-2-1 best practices being having 3 copies of your data on 2 different sets of media, one being off-site, preferably with failover capabilities. and that's really where our Veeam Cloud Connect solutions come into play. Another question you can ask is, have you ever been hit with a natural disaster or ransomware or server failure of any type? If so, how did you recover? Where did you restore the data from? How quickly were you able to recover? And was that acceptable? These are just some simple examples of probing questions that can start that conversation into the Veeam Cloud Connect backup arena. And we really work closely with all of our partners. Anytime they have a Veeam client or a Veeam prospect who might be potentially interested in our cloud solutions, we're more than happy to schedule assessment calls with both our partners and the end users and help them assess what's going to be a best fit solution so we can present the best fit offering and pricing for that. And we're more than happy to help throughout the sales cycle with that process. Veeam Cloud Connect replication is something that's designed for clients who have really tight and aggressive recovery time and point objectives. Instead of a backup solution, they're looking for a true DR or DRAS offering where they can have hot site failover, near instant failover capabilities and recover in a matter of minutes as opposed to hours. And something that we often see in the marketplace today is clients generally have hybrid solutions is what we lead with and commonly present, where they may have a few dozen servers that are deemed mission critical. They would want to recover immediately in the event of a disaster. We would replicate those using Veeam Cloud Connect replication. And then they might have less mission critical servers where if they were able to recover in 12 to 24 hours, that would be acceptable downtime. In that case, we would present the hybrid solution, send all of their mission critical data in virtual machines to a replication repository, while all of the tier 2 machines would be sent to a backup repository. So that's called a hybrid solution. And in the event of a disaster, we can fail over both, but the replicas will be up and running much faster. There's a few different suites of service for replication as well, designed to be tailored to whatever is going to be the best fit. And failover testing or in a true DR scenario in a matter of minutes with Veeam Cloud Connect replication. You'll see a breakdown of replication.
So I just emailed him, so I'm going to do it in a minute.
Is it possible to go on mute? I'm not sure who's speaking currently, but it's causing a little bit of a background noise. Thank you. And so some probing questions for Veeam Cloud Connect replications are, do you have any servers that if unavailable cause a negative impact to the business where you're losing revenue, downtime is just something that's completely unnecessary? Any servers that if they're down for 1 to 2 hours or less are really going to negatively impact the business and the business continuity? If so, those are prime candidates for Veeam Cloud Connect replication. So a quick rule of thumb is if they have RTOs and RPOs of 2 hours or less, you're looking at replication. And in most cases, depending on the data set, they would be able to fully recover in a matter of minutes. If it's 8 to 24 hours, 4 to 8 hours, that's most likely going to be a stronger candidate for the backup solution. And generally speaking, replication is around 2x the cost of backup. But again, there's different suites of service with different price points. But we have great marketing material that we can co-brand with your organization that your sales team can have that speaks to base pricing for each of these suites and services so that they can have a high-level discussion with their clients in regards to the solution and the pricing. And then when they need a formal quote and a more detailed discussion and assessment, then you can engage with our team to help you through that process and get you the details that you need. Now we're going to touch on the Veeam Cloud Backup for Office 365 product. This is what we kind of consider the most low-hanging fruit and something that we're seeing as a really growing product. About a year ago, Veeam released their Veeam Backup for Office 365 solution and those software licenses to protect clients' Office 365 environments. Most clients were then immediately using that to back up their Office 365 infrastructure onto on-prem hardware or setting up an instance in a public cloud solution to protect that environment. What we did is we took those licenses and turned it into a cloud-to-cloud solution that provides access to a cloud portal and a cloud repository where clients and partners can log into this portal and create and edit backup jobs of their Office 365 environment, send them to our data center, the Switch SuperNAP facilities, to a repository there. Unlimited cloud storage, so the pricing for this is only based on the number of mailboxes that the end user is looking to protect. It's not based on the data footprint in those mailboxes. It also includes protection for both SharePoint and OneDrive. And there's a number of retention settings that you can select for each job you create, up to unlimited retention. And MSRP pricing begins at $3 per month per mailbox. As you increase into the hundreds and thousands of mailboxes, that price point does come down. And overall, it's a great way to protect the environment with a cloud backup solution. So it's a cloud-to-cloud offering, nothing on-prem, with a great portal and API to really easily create and edit jobs and perform a restore from Exchange or SharePoint or OneDrive. And this is the product that we specifically won the Veeam Innovation Award for earlier this year. We protect thousands of mailboxes with this solution. And in addition, if there are clients today that you work with who already own a Veeam Backup for Office 365 license, and maybe they're backing up on-prem, we can create custom offerings where we just quote them the cloud storage to send it to our data centers without the licenses included. So that's an option as well. If the licenses are already in place and maybe they're backing up on-prem or elsewhere, we can offer the solution with or without the licenses as well. And here's a breakdown of the offering as well. It really is going to protect against hardware, software failures, natural disasters, power outage, as you can see here. And Microsoft is really clear to state that, they provide the infrastructure, but the data in there is yours, and that's your responsibility. What you're doing with the data or trying to do with the data is on yours. And they're very limited with what they guarantee as far as recoverability, as well as the SLA and the time frame associated with that. I'm sure if you've worked with Microsoft support, you know that there's what can be restored and when, and in a time frame is really up for debate and sometimes hit or miss. So with the cloud-to-cloud solution, you're really ensuring an SLA and a restore guarantee with anything that you protect with this cloud backup solution. But a great market opportunity there. It's something that we've seen a tremendous amount of success with in the last year, and it's a fairly simple solution to work through and demo and test. And something to note with all of our offerings is we offer demos as well as proof of concept trial repositories that we can enable for each of your end users. And furthermore, if you think it would be helpful for your team to have access to a demo or a trial environment to share and review and show your clients, we can always set that up where you have 1 year of a 1 terabyte backup repository or a set number of mailboxes that you can back up to show and work with your clients, to show them the offering, and then when they're ready to really engage with moving forward with the solution, then you would reach out to us for pricing and a formal trial if they wanted to proceed that route as well. But we help with all of the resources that you would need to really enable your team to be able to go out there and offer these products and have the knowledge and the resources to take the opportunity as far as you can before engaging with us. And I ran through that pretty quickly, but we've got about 10 to 15 minutes. If anybody has any specific questions or feedback, I'd be more than happy to address those now. So you can either put them in the chat window or just go ahead and go off mute and ask any specific questions. But again, Seaway and myself will follow up with you in regards to providing the recording of this webinar, as well as if there's any specific documentation that you might want to see, or if you have interest in a follow-up call with our team to speak to the partner program, the margins, anything like that more specifically. So I'll open the floor up to the room now if any attendees have any questions. Brian, I saw your question in the chat. That's a great question. That's something I think we should speak to one-on-one if you don't mind. If you've got time either today or later this week, I can send you a follow-up email shortly after this. The reason for that is there's a few different options essentially. So I'd like to talk with you those more in depth to see what would be the best fit. But there are absolutely other avenues, as well as if you're purchasing licensing elsewhere, you can always move forward with the cloud offerings through Ingram Micro that we offer as well. So that's kind of the high-level answer, but we'd love to kind of set up a 10 to 15-minute conversation with you either later today or later this week to speak to that further. And we can offer co-branded solutions as well, and co-branded marketing material and data sheets and resources, or fully white label solutions as well. So great question, Brian. Any other questions? All right, I'll leave the meeting bridge open for another minute if anyone is still typing out questions, and we'll answer them over the next minute or two. But it looks like everyone's pretty much covered. So again, really thank you everyone for the time today. I really appreciate it, and hopefully this was helpful. And even if you just want to leave some feedback and say, hey, this was helpful, this wasn't, or here's what we'd like to see moving forward, that would be helpful to know. And again, thank you all for the time. Have a great rest of the day and a great week. And looking forward to hopefully working with you closer moving forward and winning some Veeam Cloud Connect deals with some of your clients. Thank you.